Welcome to CM Fab. I'm Chris. This is my 1981 Toyota pickup. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. If you're coming over from Instagram, thank you. It means a lot that you're taking the time to come and watch my build. I'm trying to get remotivated on this truck. It's been a long time since I've worked on it. The roll cage is probably the last part that I actually did work on and filmed and put on Instagram. I'm just starting out this YouTube, so I'm probably gonna be terrible at filming for a little bit. Just wanna throw that out there. Again, thank you for coming. This first video is gonna be just about the build itself. Get everybody that hasn't seen it caught up, and then we're gonna go ahead and start doing some more fab work if that's what you're interested in. Like I said in the intro, this is my 1981 Toyota Hilux or Toyota pickup, depending on where in the world that you guys are from. I picked this one up probably in the early 2010s at some point, 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. When I bought it, it was pretty stock. It was lowered, had some wide wheels on it. The guy I got it from, I actually met through the Stance Works forum, so if you remember that way back in the day, it was all about low cars and wide wheels with stretched tires, which is what I was pretty much into then. I bought it, daily drove it for a year and a half, until some rust issues finally caught up with it, and it was kind of getting unsafe to drive. At that point, I decided, hey, you know what? I've never welded anything in my life before. Let me go ahead and try and do a 4-link on this thing. And you can see here it is no longer 4-linked, but my original plan was just to do a 4-link and some simple, coilovers up front. And it has escalated since then. And my original goal was just to have a cool little mini truck. Plans changed, obviously. I moved from North Carolina to Texas and had a lot of free time on my hands. So I decided, you know what? Again, I have never welded. I've never done any kind of fabrication before, but I want to start somehow. Why not build a whole entire truck? As plans changed, I got more into autocross. I wanted to get into road course racing and whatnot. I had a 1994 Chevy pickup that I used to use for autocross. Had coilovers and crapping leaf springs in the back. It was a lot of fun for what it was, but again, it was a bone stock Chevy pickup. I'm not expecting anything to happen out of it. this kind of evolved into what I wanted it to be, what I wanted that truck to be. I wanted a truck that no one really expected to come out onto the racetrack and do anything crazy. I wanted to be able to kind of surprise, you know, the Porsches, the Miatas, the Corvettes, the S2000s out there, and my crappy old Toyota pickup. And I don't think I've surprised anyone because it has never left the garage since. Back here is what kind of got all the attention on Instagram. And by all the attention, I mean like the 5 people that thought it was cool other than me. It is a cantilever suspension, Ride-Tech coilovers, 350Z rear diff. Most of a 240SX subframe has all the control arms and whatnot in here. You can see lower control arm, 240SX, upper control arm, 240SX, 350Z rear diff, like I mentioned, and then completely custom frame to work for where the fuel cell will go. We have our frame that goes forward, cross members up to where hopefully an engine will someday live. I keep it that truck look. I don't want stuff sticking up through the floor. I don't want hood stacks or turbos sticking out anywhere. I just want it to look like a 1980s mini truck that's been maybe bagged or slammed or something. And then up front, we have most of a Mustang 2 front end, cross member, control arms, steering rack, and then some custom upper control arm mounts and coilover mounts that I would like to redo at some point in the future. We have wheel lid brakes that you can kind of see over there in the corner. Watanabe wheels, again, full cage. You can see there's not much left of Toyota. I would like to, again, make it look somewhat stock, so all the sheet metal will go back in. Right now, the cage is welded straight to the frame. That will change probably in the next video, hopefully here in a week or two. We're gonna make some cab mounts so that I can cut the weld and make the cab removable again. The engine that will hopefully end up in the engine bay at some point is a K24A2. I picked it up cheap. Hopefully it will be turboed at some point, not in the near future. Big goal is just to get it in there and mounted. I do have a BMW G260, I believe it is, that's gonna go behind it with the K-swap kit. Most of these parts, again, I just marketplace until I find a good deal. That's why it's probably taking so long, as well as I keep going back and forth on what I would like to do to it. Originally, I had a Beams motor that I was gonna put in there. Some of you probably remember from Instagram. And then I swapped over to an LS in T56. That has since ended up, well, right here on the engine stand. The one I actually had for the car, or the truck itself, ended up in the Camaro that you saw in the beginning. It seemed like it was a better fit for that car, and now we're on to the K24. Some future plans for the truck. I would kind of like to redo the rear suspension a little bit. I don't know if I'll keep the cantilever or go to a more simple style or standard style rear suspension. The cantilever is cool, gets Instagram likes, but I would like to do something a little bit more simple, keep from cutting the bed as much as possible. The bed over there is a little bit rusty, but I would like to not cut holes in it if I can refrain from that. Some of the front stuff, like I talked about, I want to redo the coilover mount and the upper control arm mounts. I would like to get the engine mounted at some point, hopefully. The whole plan is to kind of get it so I can roll it on a trailer and off a trailer easily if I have to move, which is probably going to happen in about a year. I want to kind of one package all on the trailer and then off the trailer instead of having to move the truck and then the bed and then the engine and all this other stuff that I have in here to a new location, especially if it's a couple days drive or something like that. So that would be nice. I would like to get it running and driving, and I would like to sheet metal the bed or sheet metal the cab, firewall, rear firewall, that kind of stuff. But that is later on down the line. I just want to get, like I said, it all into one package. As far as the engine, K24A2, like I mentioned, I would like to do a turbo, but getting it running and driving is more important than making lots of horsepower, especially in this one. I know I said I wanted it to be kind of like a crazy autocross truck or crazy road race truck, but who knows, right? I just want to be able to get in and drive. I want to be able to kind of take my daughter somewhere, take her to school in it, and scare all the other little kindergartners and whatnot. She's only 2 now, so that gives me a little bit of time. Like I said, 2 years old, so I don't have a lot of time to come out here every day, but I do try and make time. I also work full time. I do some welding on the side now, so I'm trying to do this as much as possible. That's why I created the channel, is to hopefully motivate me to come out here and at least record something to show myself that I can do it again, and make a little bit more time for that kind of stuff, for my hobbies, instead of just work or, well, really just work. And again, I just want to say thank you for joining me in the shop today. I know there's a lot of talking in this one. Hopefully in the next few, it'll be me talking less and me welding more, because that's what I actually like to do. I don't like to talk. I talk all day at work for the most part, so I like to be quiet out here and just work. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Check out the Instagram, That Little Truck, and I'll see you in the next one.